Hello, I'm Trevor Cutmore and welcome to my YouTube channel. Welcome to my golf course where I am a member. This is the 5th hole. Everything is closed down. There's no flags and no play is permitted in this lockdown. So I hope that you're staying safe and making the best of this situation. Now, what is going on in the UK property market? Great question. There's lots of things. There is a heading that there's on the Express newspaper that house prices have fallen 40%. Let's just clear that one up. First of all, the property that they're talking about is in Mayfair. It was on the market at 4.9 million. It got sold for 2.9 million. So they're saying it's a 40% drop. Let's be quite honest with some of the agents in London, and I'm not going to say any names, I'm not going to say the names, but some of them really do put property on the market, especially those types of properties, at a crazy price. So I don't think it's a fair reflection. However, the report carried on and it said that there are issues with values in properties in Knightsbridge, where I used to live and work, and Westminster. Yes, look, I would agree with that, because many of those areas have run away when prices have gone up, and they always just exaggerate, and money comes in from overseas and people pay crazy money. I've got lots of stories how even in Belgravia, there was a friend of mine, an estate agent down there. He had a limousine with some people who came, I think, from Saudi Arabia. They were driving around. They said, this one is 5 million. And they said, oh, we'll pay 6 for it. And they bought 3 flats like that, not even going inside. So it is an exaggerated market in those high-end places. So I think it's unfair to put 40% drop. I think that is wrong. But what is the reality? Well, there's other reports which are going around now and saying this won't last. The soaring house prices, this trend where it's a lot of places, they still see it going up and up and up. There is this race to get properties completed before the 31st of March because of the stamp duty relief, and that's going to be great. I'm sure that some of the solicitors will be working all night on that day, trying to get things complete before business opens on the 1st of April. However, what's going to happen? Well, I don't think we're going to see the crash that was originally predicted, including myself, because of how the government has tried to steer things, but we're certainly going to see a downturn. We are. There's no escaping this. There are millions of people who are becoming unemployed. As soon as furlough stops at the end of March again, that will have a knock-on effect as well. I think there's going to be, already we're seeing more and more properties come to the market. I made an offer on a property yesterday, waiting until I see. It was 10% below what they want, but I want to convert it into flats. They think they can get more, that's fine. I've got no problem, I fully respect that. And you know, I've been very straight with them and said, this is where I can come to, but we'll see. What's going to happen? Well, yes, there's this drive. People are buying a little bit more expensive. They want to get out of, take this chance to move to a bigger house, and instead of paying a chunk of money for the stamp duty, they're putting it towards the deposit. And it makes logic, it's sensible to do that. Once that window closes though, I think we are going to start to see a little bit of a downturn in price values. One of the things which is going to add to this are properties which are valued at 0. And you're going to say, Trevor, what are you talking about? Well, when a property has Japanese knotweed and it's not been dealt with, the valuer will come and see the Japanese knotweed and say it's valued at 0. Why? Because they don't want to put a mortgage on that property. It doesn't mean it's actually worth nothing. It has a value, but it has a problem. That problem needs to be taken care of with licensed contractors, so it's certified. Then you will get a mortgage on that property. And there's many other things like this, but let's take probably the biggest thing which has happened in the UK as far as values on properties, and that is on high-rise flats. So flats, I believe it's over 6 floors. Those where they got cladding, many of them have been valued at 0 until this initiative run by the government, safer whatever it's called, they started in 2019. They put a £1.6 billion funding to help change the cladding on all these properties around the country. They're woefully behind time. Many of them have been started. It's a very slow process, but there's stories now coming out from across the board that people are trying to sell. They want to move, they want to take advantage of this stamp duty relief, but they can't sell their apartment. What can they do? Nothing, I'm afraid, until the cladding has been changed and it's got signed off that it's safe. Lenders just will not lend on it. So unless you can buy cash or you have a cash buyer for your apartment, there's this knock-on effect, and that's caused a huge stalling effect to move people on. Look, I think it's going to be a very aggressive market that we're going to come into. People like myself, investors, are going to be able to take their pick, and there's going to be a lot of stuff coming on, especially when furlough stops, etc. People are going to start to want to get rid, and the reason that the market drops is because of desperation. When people start selling a £200,000 apartment or a house for 150 or less, there's this run that other people say, well, I want to sell it. Well, hang on a minute, that one went for 150, yours is worth 150, not 200 anymore. And you get this sort of run, and it has this knock-on effect that brings prices down. So, you know, we're going to find it. We're going to obviously buy a lot of other things. I've said before, where you can see that there's a real human cost in the way that a family are having to move out because they just can't afford it and go into a smaller thing, then maybe then that's a chance to use an option, tie them in. And so let's suppose, and it is that scenario, 200,000, you can buy it at 150. Well, agree to buy it from them in 5 years for 180, pick it up. At least they're going to get something better than 150. And something like that could really work. And so you're going to tie in some profit to them. And I think that's a really good way to go. So guys, I'd love to have your comments. Put your comments, please subscribe. Check out my other videos, there's series, there's playlists and all sorts, especially on development. And I'm going to be talking about, on the next video on Friday, is what would you do with a limited amount of money to invest in the UK property market? What should you be doing? I look forward to seeing you then. God bless you. Bye-bye.